All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're done with One Piece. Now it's time to move on to My Hero Academia. And this chapter is also going on break, just like the other. So I wouldn't be surprised if I move on to Jujutsu Kaisen, that we all go on break for 2 weeks for all 3 series. So let's go and get the formalities out of the way, shall we? Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another I was about to say One Piece. My mouth wanted to say One Piece. But welcome back to yet another My Hero Academia chapter reaction and review. Last we left out on, the villains made their way towards the Gunga Mountains, where pretty much everyone else was fighting. And it pretty much ended with Hawks trying to, with everyone fending off against the Twice clones. Dabi showing up and saying, eyeballing his dad and going for him. With his dad Endeavor asking what did he do to Shoto. All for one thinking this is not how I wanted things to go, but I'll just ride these winds for now. Because he was hoping that Kurogiri, all for one hoped that Kurogiri would warp next to him so he could take Kurogiri's warp quirk and basically go wherever he wanted. But he'll just deal with it as he launches in the air to try and get to where Tomura is. And Hawks intercepts him with All for One saying that Hawks understands, we know that the rewind effect puts you on a timer, but you sure seem in an awful hurry, pal. What, don't you have faith in Shigaraki, in that perfect body of yours? With All for One realizing that Hawks is very perceptive, as he says, so discerning. In the truest sense, that body is not yet complete. There's a reason why this version of me is still essential. And I said back then that maybe he wants to combine with Tomura so he can still exist but have access to the new body of Tomura. His new constantly evolving body on Tomura. Now, I don't know how right or how wrong I am, but we're going to find out in the next chapter, because it ends with Dabi facing his dad and preparing to, launch at Endeavor, with Endeavor thinking, this time around, I'm really seeing you, because that's all Toya wanted. So, let's get started with chapter 377, The Chain Thus Far. And I'm actually going to switch to a single page view. I really need to make this a habit so that way I don't see something in the next page prematurely so I can be even more surprised. Chapter 377, The Chain Thus Far. And we get narration. As the heroes withered, the villains thrived. Due to the gap in power, achieving victory through standard tactics was as unlikely as grabbing hold of a thin, fleeting thread. Instead, the heroes strategized to divide their foes and claim the advantage. But a raging tempest began to blow. And then it shows the UA Fortress as the Kurogiri Gate that had Present Mic in there appears right behind Aizawa. Yamada, that means. And then it cuts to Kurogiri as a Twice clone comes through. Well, a sea of Twice clones come through. Oh no. Oh no. No. This is bad. Twice clones come in and they distract the hero that could, have water come out of his fingers and, keep Monama's eyes dry. They tackle Aizawa, that one hero, and Monama. And then as Monama gets punched, he gets grabbed and his face is slammed into the ground with enough force to cause Monama to close his eyes. Oh no, this is bad. Because Monoma was the only thing keeping Shigaraki from having access to any of his quirks. We are starting the year 2023 for My Hero Academia with the worst possible situation happening in the UA Fortress. This is bad. But Monama's eyes closes, and then it cuts to Shigaraki's body. What in the world? It cuts to Shigaraki's body, and remember, there was a big, giant hole punched into him by Midoriya, but there's something coming out of him. Like another, out of his body is like another new body is coming out of Shigaraki. And it yells, and it causes this massive explosion that... I gotta put this in double panel. Yo. Whatever this thing is, I don't know what it is inside of Shigaraki. Whatever it is, it screams or yells out, and there's a massive explosion that destroys the entire barrier of the dome. It destroys the entire barrier. What is happening to Shigaraki's body right now? Because you got his normal body that's leaning back, but we have another body that's coming out of him like a whole face, like it's stretching through his flesh. And that's what destroyed the barrier. What in the world? Below the UA campus, a power line was busted. I can't pop in a spare. The corners we cut for this super rush job are coming back to bite us. What about the electromagnetic barrier? What's left is holding up, but output isn't stellar. And then it cuts to Mandalay. This is Mandalay. We've lost flight control. And then Yaoyorozu. Huh? I repeat, we've lost control. The UA fortress itself is starting to plummet. And then it cuts to Spectre. At last, I'm in. Prepare for your downfall, heroes. And Skeptic is just, okay. Okay. What's more, the control center island is under attack, and Phantom Thief is unable to perform his role. Then it cuts to Midoriya, who's looking, because they're talking about Monoma, because Midoriya is bracing his face as he looks at Shigaraki. He looks at Shigaraki as Mandalay continues. Eraser is no longer active. The deadliest villain of all is about to be unleashed. And then it cuts to Midoriya as we see a gate of Kurogiri appear right next to Shigaraki. It's Kurogiri! What happened at Central Hospital? And then Mandalay continues. Once UA falls, all of Japan, no, the entire world will be destroyed by his hands! What's tearing away? Is he shedding skin? He's not moving, because it looks like Shigaraki's body is changing around rapidly as he's looking at Shigaraki, and it's like he's peeling his own skin off. It's weird. And then Shigaraki speaks. What if I told you that it's me here now? What would you want to do? Sit down for a chat at the mall? Huh? Ain't happening, hero. After all, I am your villain. That's the Shigaraki persona, as Shigaraki now comes back. Because all this time, it was All For One's consciousness in control of Shigaraki, but now Shigaraki has the reins again. Then it cuts back to the forest where Skeptic is. Naturally, UA's system was doomed to fall to my skills. Even their subterranean evacuation system is putty in my hands now. The ignorant masses and heroes who cling to the old ways will I can't even say it because of hiccups. The ignorant masses and heroes who cling to the old ways will I just want to say the word perish. Can I not say perish? The ignorant masses and heroes who cling to the old ways will perish in the name of liberation. As it shows Skeptic just going crazy on the keys. Then it cuts to Midoriya. If the school comes crashing down, Yaoyorozu and everyone below are doomed. I've got to keep UA in the air. And at the same time, I need to keep an eye on Kurogiri so that Shigaraki can't escape. Crap, it's all too much. I can't breathe. I need air. And then it cuts to Midoriya as he goes, the blowback from the powered-up gear shift quirk. When my cells don't get a second to rest, my body can't get enough oxygen. So this kind of reminds me of, breathing techniques from Demon Slayer. If you're not used to it, then it starts to wreak havoc on your body. And then it cuts to the second user of One For All going, I said you can't fall just yet. However, there's a silver lining to this dark cloud. Huh? All for One is having serious problems keeping those identities unified. Those of us within One for All resonate with All for One, so we can peer into each other's inner workings. At the moment, it seems he's in no position to manipulate the flesh he's possessing. Yeah, Shigaraki's now fully in control. Do whatever it takes to make your own body act, even 1 second faster. The chain of events leading to this moment will be your power. And then someone appears on the feet of Skeptic going,
Found ya! It took a while, but you finally showed yourself. Hunting you down was no walk in the park.
And then Skeptic just goes, huh? Oh! Yo, it's LaBrava! It's LaBrava! She's working against Skeptic!
But nothing's too much for me, 'cause this is all for Gentle's sake!
'Cause she's there with Tsukauchi. Former crime clip uploader villain, LaBrava. What? Okay, so Skeptic's about to have... Skeptic's got some competition now. Skeptic was over there trying to mess and break into the system of UA, but now LaBrava, who's a computer genius in her own right, is working against them now. Wow. Because when you think about it, we really haven't had anyone take on Skeptic. We had people take on the other leaders of the Para-Liberation Army during the whole Deka City incident when Shigaraki and his team fought them all. But Skeptic was the only person who didn't exactly have someone to fight against him on his level. Now we got LaBrava, former villain, as she's now working with Tsukauchi for Gentle's sake against Skeptic. I never would have thought we would see LaBrava again. How long has it been since we've seen Gentle Criminal and LaBrava? It's been forever since we've seen Gentle and LaBrava. Wow. Okay, this was a good chapter. DJ, Von U Gaming, you missed the start of the live. It's fine, Von. Just finished this chapter. It's one of the better ones we've had in a few weeks. I wonder if the skin peeling is something to do with All for One was talking to Hawks about in the last chapter about how there's one last step in perfecting Shigaraki. Yeah, see, my thing is, Shigaraki's skin is peeling right now for reasons unknown. We still don't know the reason of why we saw that secondary body, kind of erupt from his chest a little bit underneath his skin, but it kind of subsided a little bit, because that's not the new Shigaraki, because we got the regular Shigaraki as he stands up, and we have actual Tomura speaking right now. It's not All for One in him who's, taking control of him, but we got Shigaraki speaking right now. But that's not the concern. The concern is the fact that Monoma is no longer using Erasure on Shigaraki, which means that Shigaraki can now use all of his quirks, including Decay. And if the people underneath the UA Fortress do not get out, they are all going to die because of the way that Decay works. So that's the biggest concern right now. The biggest concern is getting everyone outside of the fortress before Shigaraki tries to decay and kill everybody. Because if you touch the ground after it's been decayed, you're next. I mean, it has that domino lingering DOT effect to it. So that's a concern. And All for One's consciousness inside of Shigaraki is already having a hard enough time trying to wrest control because Shigaraki and All for One are not united inside that body. So he no longer has control over it like he wants to. And Shigaraki is back in the reins now. And Midoriya needs to rest up because using the gear shift quirk has its drawbacks akin to that of people who are trying to use breathing techniques in Demon Slayer, and they've never used it before. Like, remember when Tanjiro used breathing techniques against Daki for the first time, and he had to make himself breathe, otherwise he risked killing himself and pushing his body beyond its limits. That's pretty much the situation that Midoriya is kind of in right now. But he also has to deal with the fact that Shigaraki is back, who has access to all of his quirks. Not only that, but due to whatever happened in Shigaraki specifically, caused the barrier around UA to implode and explode, and also actually, Midoriya needs to keep it afloat while stopping Shigaraki and recovering for the effects of Gear Shift. I believe Skeptic was the one who took control of the flight controls of the UA Fortress and is now causing it to plummet towards the ground. But if La Brava is going up against Skeptic, I feel like she's going to be the one who restores control to the flight controls to the UA Fortress, so that can be one less thing Midoriya has to worry about. But La Brava has to take out Skeptic in order for Midoriya to not worry about that as much. That's not to say that Midoriya is going to have to worry about trying to fly and hold up the UA Fortress while also making it so that Shigaraki doesn't try and kill everyone just instantly. That's a concern. Like, it's one thing to hold on to a bunch of people to keep them from falling to their deaths, but it's another thing entirely when you have to hold up an entire flying fortress with your own power, and also keep another individual who basically has a large plethora of different quirks in him, all of them destructive, to keep him from wreaking havoc at the exact same time. That's still something, that's a concern. We have no idea what Shigaraki is about to do now. Like, he was all like, you want to chat like we were at the mall? Too bad, it's not happening, hero. I'm your villain. So, Shigaraki could do anything right now. On top of the fact that UA's fortress is plummeting towards the ground because of Skeptic. Shigaraki on his own is more than Deku can realistically handle. Here's the thing. Midoriya was able to handle Shigaraki when Shigaraki didn't have access to all of his quirks, and he just had the superhuman side to it. Like the evolving, his body evolving, that's what protected him for the most part. But now, Midoriya is going to have to worry about Shigaraki using any combination of his quirks, including Decay. I'm sorry, for all the quirks that Shigaraki has in him, Decay is the deadliest one. Because now that it's evolved, it is so massively more destructive than ever before. And with a ton of Midoriya's friends inside the UA Fortress, like, remember, we got Yaoyorozu underneath helping, power lift, and the rest of them build more stuff to keep Shigaraki from rotting things too quickly. But we also got Kaminari and some other student heroes who are helping power the fortress and keep it afloat. That's something that's going on. If Shigaraki starts using Decay, things are going to get chaotic extremely quickly. Not only that, but apparently we have like a Kurogiri Gate appearing right next to Shigaraki for reasons unknown, and that's happening right now. The first chapter we get of My Hero Academia in the year 2023, and it begins with Monoma closing his eyes and Shigaraki getting access to the rest of his quirks. This really is starting out to be the year of insanity for manga, isn't it? I don't even know what to expect. Let me see if I can pull it up. See if I can pull up the chapter itself. Yep, we got a full summary. Chapter notes: Eraserhead, Phantom Thief, and Manual, that's the hero's name, are attacked by twice doubles sent by Kurogiri, causing Phantom Thief to be knocked down and Eraser being undone. Tomura unleashes a massive explosion that destroys most of the UA Fortress, preventing further repair. So they can't repair the UA Fortress anymore. At the same time, Skeptic hacks into the UA system, as well as the evacuation facility, gaining control and preparing to plummet it into the ground. See, UA Fortress plummeting towards the ground, threatening all below it and everyone inside, just reminds me of the whole incident where all of Onigashima was threatened to drop down onto Wano during the whole later half of the Wano arc in One Piece. It just reminds me of that. If UA crashes, then the world is doomed, because Shigaraki will most likely survive, but everyone else, not so much. Tomura's original personality re-emerges from outside his own body as due to One for All and All for One resonating with each other, they can see All for One's control over the body has weakened. And Skeptic's system is then hacked into by La Brava, working alongside the police force. So there's just so much going on right now. Oh, good lord. I don't even know what to say about all these chapters all these chapters from these different series thus far. But this is bad. This is bad. Things just keep getting worse. If it's not Himiko Toga using twice his blood to create Dead Man's Parade and barrage all the heroes in the Gunga Mountains with endless sea of twices, then it's Kurogiri saying that he's coming there to help Tomura Shigaraki, and then ruining what the heroes were using to keep him from using his quirks. Then we got All for One trying his best to get to where Tomura Shigaraki is. Then we have Dabi making his way towards Endeavor. That's going on. And now we got the UA Fortress threatening to plummet towards the ground because of Skeptic, while Shigaraki has regained his original personality and is, saying like, we're not talking this time. I'm your villain. It's not happening. And it's like, things just keep going from bad to worse for the heroes, which means that when the heroes have their moment, it's going to surpass all these bad moments for the heroes. That's how, for the villains. That's how it works. That's how it works. Every time it seems like one side is having such a good string of luck, the other side comes back with an even bigger monumental comeback. For the heroes, it's a big, massive win that the villains weren't expecting. For the villains, it's a big, massive win that the heroes weren't expecting. And for a couple of chapters now, the heroes have not been having good luck. The last time the heroes had a good string of luck was when Midoriya came in and revealed Gear Shift and was constantly fighting against Shigaraki. That was the last time the heroes had a good string of luck. Now, we've been having a good string of luck for the villains, which means that when the heroes come back, it's going to be bigger than this big string of luck that the heroes have been having this whole time. I know it's going to make me get out of my seat. I know it's going to make me get out of my seat because that's how it's always been. But, every time I think things can't get worse, they do. Every time I can't think that things can get any worse, they do. But this might be the absolute worst scenario that any of the heroes are in right now. Simply because of the threat of Shigaraki, along with his superhuman evolved body, and his quirks. That's a major concern. But we have no idea what's going to happen next because we're going on break for 2 whole weeks. So I'm going to have to think about all the things that's happening in One Piece. I'm going to have to think about all the things that's happening in My Hero Academia. It's just quite a lot to process. And now I got to bog my mind down with the stuff that's happening in Jujutsu Kaisen because the last chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen was big in and of itself. So that, good lord. And we still don't know what's going on with Aoyama, Fat Gum, and that one member from Tartarus. We still don't know. That's still one plot point that we have not gone back to. You would think that we would have gone back to it by now, but I don't know. But you guys let me know what you thought of this chapter as a whole. All I know is that the heroes, y'all better pull out all the stops. Because Shigaraki is back, and he can now use his quirks. So I'm mentally trying to prepare myself for the worst. I really hope we don't lose anyone, but given Shigaraki's nature of just wanting to destroy everything, I don't know. But we're going to have to find out in the next chapter in 2 weeks. Pardon me. All I can say to everyone here is that, good God, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, maybe even consider becoming a mender. Maybe even consider becoming a mender. Share with everyone you know because the more the merrier. And maybe even consider becoming a member because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later peoples, on to Jujutsu Kaisen.